Hello there, lovely viewers. What is up? Max from Facts and Fiction, with another video. Before we begin, please allow me to express my gratitude to you guys for the first top 15 video. It has become my most popular video with over 5,000 views currently. That may not seem much compared to big channels, but it means a lot to me. So, thanks. I didn't plan on making a part 2 at the time of making that video, but because some of you requested it, I decided to make this video. Now, let me be clear by stating that anyone who is not old enough to read the following manga should please stray away from it. I'm not a parent, nor do I want to be held accountable for your irresponsible parent. Also, about the video, there are a few rules I need to make clear. 1. I'm not good with pronouncing certain Japanese words or names, so please do not dislike or hate me for the way I pronounce certain words. 2. Harem is kind of void in this manga, but you see what I mean by that. 3. I added a few manga from the part 1's honorable mentions. At the time, I didn't think I would have to make a part 2, just like I said recently. But now that I have, I think some of you deserve to know more into the stories that I couldn't explain at the time. So, with that cleared, let's begin. Number 15. Kono Sekai ga game da to oe dake ga shito. Wow, I butchered that name. Anyway, the main character is Saga Soma, an obsessed gamer who has dreamt of being in a game, specifically on a game known as Neko Mimi Neko, which is an online game that comes with a VR machine and a bunch of games that allows him to experience the virtual world. This game is known for its major bugs, such as its tricky quests and unfairly high level enemies. It has even won the award for Cheat Games Awards for 2 consecutive years. But surprisingly, it's for these exact reasons that it's so popular. Our main character is, like I said, obsessed with this game, to the point that he failed to fulfill a promise he made to his little cousin and does pay the price when she accidentally sent him to the game world. Now, upon hearing this, some readers might feel this manga is boring. However, I think this one is a pretty good one. What makes this manga different is due to the fact that it heavily plays on the video game aspect in its own unique way. Instead of just having a straight game that works in another world, this game works with the same bugs and everything. I'll go into detail about that later. Saga isn't an overpowered character like a certain anime character, but he is a smart one, especially in a world where being the strongest won't get him that far due to, like I said, the game mechanics. You see, this game world he wakes up in still functions exactly like the game he knew. This means many of the bugs and quests are similar to how it used to be. Now, one of the things I love about this manga is the comedy. Some anime/manga may use fan service to deliver on this, but not this manga. The manga can deliver well with its own comedy, while sprinkling a few heartwarming moments here and there. So, if you're tired of the typical main character with overpowered powers, then this manga might be the fresh air you're looking for. Number 14. Originally, this was placed in the honorable mentions, but because the original manga that should have taken the spot has some allegations against it, I switched both of them. Anyway, welcome to the manga Lonely Attack on a Different World. Our main character, Haruko, is a high school student who prefers to be alone, but when a magic cycle engulfs the class, he does the most logical thing. He runs away. Think about it. Sure, it's fun to think about going to another world, but when you really think about it, would you want to risk your life fighting demons, dragons, and all sorts of monsters for a bunch of people you don't even know? Anyway, Haruko fails to escape the magic circle completely. Thus, he finds himself in a white room with an old man there. There's a bunch of comments here and there between the two, before the old man reveals, though reluctantly, that he usually summons 13 people. But because his classmates were 43, that shows most of the good skills and set off to that new world. Haruko was upset during that time, so the god of that world couldn't give him those skills that were already taken. But since that's the case, the god decides right away to give him the rest of the skills, despite our main character's protest. Next thing he knows, he's in a forest far from civilization. Now, some of the skills he gained are useful when used right. But if you are a downer, like the loner skill, which makes it impossible for him to join or form a party. Now, Haruko sets off to live his own life, though he crosses with his classmates and ends up helping some of them along the way. There are some criticisms that this manga has received because of the main character being able to interact well with others despite being a self-proclaimed loner, which isn't exactly true. Prior to the teleportation, he acknowledged that he gets along with the geeks, which shows that he does have some social skills. The only reason why he remained a loner but because he found other people in his classroom as an annoyance. And trust me, when you get to know some of them, you will be a loner in that classroom too. I should add that just because he's a loner, that does not mean he isn't willing to help others. Plus, he has learned that whenever he shoots down an invitation, his loner status increases. Anyway, give this manga a try if you want. You'll be the judge. Number 13. Reincarnated Prince wants to slack off. Our main character is Haruto, a young man who lost his family and became burdened by his strict grandfather. Because of this, he never really got to have a life that he wanted as his own. But when he gets run over by Toxan, he's reincarnated as Phil Graceheart, the youngest child in a royal family. He finally gets the family he wanted, but because of his knowledge and exceptional magic power in summoning and other things, it isn't long before he is won for a slow and comfortable life to come crashing down. This manga is pretty good despite how short I put this. The main character is a child, so there's that. You can read this and find yourself having fun. So give it a read as well if you want. You might like it. Number 12. The villainess will crush at the structural end through modern firepower. Though this manga hasn't gone far, I have a good feeling about it. Our protagonist is not a male or a high school student, but a 4-year-old girl who used to be a first-year university student in her previous life. After she bumped her head while coming down the stairs, she remembers whom she used to be as well as the world she's in. It tells her that she has been reincarnated as the villainess, as with Sophia von Oldenburg of the game Wish Upon a Shooting Star. The setting of the game takes place in the Persian Empire, though unlike the real-world historical version, this one has magic and swords. As she realizes that she is doomed to multiple bad endings. As such, she decides right away to polish her magic, but not the way most protagonists in her situation would do. You see, in her previous life, she was a military otaku. So what better way to save oneself than to blow everything up with incredible firepower? Now, I will admit that the first few chapters can be a bit slow, but you will appreciate it since it helps to bridge the gap from the moment she remembers her past to the part where she's capable of creating guns and ammunition. So yeah, don't underestimate her. She may look cute, but she's as deadly as they come. Number 11. I just survived using potions. Despite this being placed at number 11, this is actually one of my favorite manga. Meet Koryo Nagase, formerly a 22-year-old company woman. One night, she's caught up in what I can call a dimensional distortion that destroyed her human body. Fortunately, the administrator of this world, aka the god of that universe, was able to preserve her consciousness and soul. He could use his power to restore her body and send her back, but doing such would result to some consequences that would doom her world. That isn't an exaggeration. I'm just dumbing things down so we can go on with it. So with that, the administrator decided that he will request that she be sent to another world, which, of course, is a medieval European-like world. Nagase requests to have a cheat ability and a younger body so she can get married one day and have children. But that isn't the best part of her request. One crucial part of this manga that stands out for most, if not all, Isekai manga and anime that I have seen is this crucial scene right here. No Isekai character that I have seen have ever done this before. It always bothered me how most of them are like, oh, I died. Well, just send me to another world so I can become a hero or live a slow and comfortable life that somehow would work out well because people would like my magical supreme power and all that kind of shit. Yeah, that pretty much make them feel disconnected. Back to Nagase, rather than leaving her family and friends in grief, she visits them in a dream-like state to assure them that she'll be fine. It's a sense of closure for her and them, and even though we don't know these people, it makes her character connect well with not just them, but to us as readers because she seems more realistic in this manner. Anywho, the administrator of her world then sends her to the other world's goddess, who grants her other requests. Her first request is to have the ability to make any potion with any effects that she wants. Her second request was an item box that will store everything for her. Her third request is to have her body with her original genes to be rejuvenated to 15 years old. Then her final request was to have the goddess become her best friend. In the first chapter alone, we're already able to see the kind of character she is. Nagase is caring and very thoughtful. She's also surprisingly very smart and strategic in some ways. This shows more in the later chapters. I won't go more into this. You should give the manga a try because it's actually more than I've explained so far. Number 10. And here's another main character that's a girl. Welcome to the manga I reincarnated into an ultimate game as a villainess. All roads lead to doom. A serious bump on the head can truly do wonders. I mean, it's like, oh, sorry. I strayed off a bit, didn't I? Anywho, our main character is Katrina Klaus, the only daughter of a duke and raised as a princess. In her previous life, she was a 17-year-old high school student that died in a traffic accident. What was her name back then? Who knows? And frankly, who cares? One day, she hits her head pretty hard and remembers her previous life. Of course, this leaves a mark on her forehead, but that's the least of her problems. Now that she knows who she is, she's terrified to find out that she has been reincarnated as the villain of the game, Fortune Lover. In this game world, it's a medieval European-like society where swords and magic exist. Most people in the nobility class possess magic, though in rare cases, commoners have magical protection in them too. So while all this sounds great, our main protagonist is in a tight spot. The villainess dies at the end of almost every scenario, so you can see why she's so worried. Fortunately, she won't fall into despair. Our dear protagonist has taken into consideration for these scenarios and has decided to lead her life to an exiled scenario. That way, she won't die. Though I cut this short, I still recommend this manga because it's really good. Or you can wait for the anime adaptation. Yes, it has an anime coming on April of this year. That just shows how good this manga is. So hopefully more manga on this list will make that a sweet anime adaptation one day. Number 9. The Sorcerers King of Destruction. Meet our main character, what's his name again? Oh, he doesn't have a name. Well, it's more like the memory he has of himself, for the most part, has been taken away from him. You see, he was summoned by a sorcerer to a life sacrifice to become the Sorcerer King of Destruction. But thanks to a rock that got in his way, he escaped this fate that the sorcerer had for him and began to learn magic. In doing this, he created a golem who would be his companion. Together, the both of them journey into a new world filled with surprises and adventures waiting for them. Considering that I overlooked it the last time, I felt it would do injustice if I ignored it again. So, why is it on this list? Simple, this manga just offers so much. There are some action scenes and a few good moments here and there. You should give it a read, you might like it. Number 8. And we have another no-name character, at least until he's given a name. Welcome to the manga, reincarnated as a dragon's egg. Let's aim to be the strongest. A main character wakes up to find himself as a dragon egg. Confused, he finds out that he is in a forest where everything can't kill him. Dangerous monsters and adventures lurk about. So he has to evolve and become the strongest just to survive. Along the way, he befriends a lizard and saves a human girl whom he becomes friends with. So throughout this story, we get to see our main character get stronger as well as form good relationship with each battle that he faces. And before you guys ask, yeah, he looks like a freaking Pokemon. Anyway, give this manga a try. It's fun and filled with action-packed scenes. Number 7. Lady Rose wants to be a commoner. This manga may sound plain by the title, but it carries a lot surprisingly. Our main character is, obviously by the title, a female who got reincarnated into an ultimate game called Lady Rose, the Savior of the Nation. Now, you may be thinking that this is like the other ultimate-based Isekai on this list, but that's where you're wrong. Those main characters reincarnated as the villainesses of their respective fantasy world. This main character, however, reincarnated as the heroine. But what makes it more different is the fact that she deliberately chose her banishment. Crazy, right? The game never demanded that she would have a bad ending, and yet she deliberately put herself in a position where her game nemesis, the villainess of the story, gets the prince and the power in the end. Lady Rose, if none of you knew by now, is the name of our main character. She wanted to be free from the shackles of royalty, so she saw his commoner's life as that chance and got a job at the bakery. However, her former captured targets, aka the guys who are supposed to be into her in the game, have been tracking her down. She will have to maneuver her way through them and hide the truth that she was framed by the villainess in order to get banished. We get to understand how she died and how her tragic previous life led her to make the decision for banishment. You should give it a try because though there is not much actions, there are more suspenseful moments which adds to the politics of that world, the development of certain characters, and Rose's growth as an independent woman. Number 6. The Black Summoner. I can't help but feel pretty drawn to this manga. Maybe there's something that this manga and I have in common? Who knows? Anyway, the main character of this manga is Kelvin, who woke up in another world after winning a raffle that he barely remembers because he lost most of his memories of his previous life. He found out that he has achieved the summon class, thus he joins a guild and begins to form his own party. The manga progresses gradually without making you feel things being forced or by coincidence. Because Kevin is a summoner, he has to rely on the strength of others and his own smarts to make it through and get stronger. Also, the manga doesn't have everything in black and white. even though it is a manga that is black and white. Good isn't as clear as you think, and evil isn't as obvious as one might consider. One other thing I like about this manga is the fact that the side characters don't feel like your one-note characters. Some Isekai manga fail to explore much on this due to the fact that it either focuses on the main character or shows too much skin for comedy or sexual reasons, or both. Fortunately, this manga is able to keep its main characters and other side characters just as interesting. Is there fan service? Yeah, but it isn't overdone like some Isekai manga. In fact, it isn't even a main focus, so you can still feel invested in the character without feeling the author is trying to, make up for something. So yeah, give this manga a try. You might lose some sleep while you're at it. Number 5. The Reincarnation of Shaman. Our main character is named Abel, who's really a reincarnation of a Japanese high school student that died. Before his first life came to an end because of Toxan, he had a vast fascination for magic, so not surprising, he grew up with a love for magic in his new life. This manga is pretty good despite how basic I just said it. We start out with our main character as a child and watch him grow in a gradual pacing. This, of course, is very, very good as we are able to see and understand other characters and his environment as a whole. He's born in the Meren clan, which used to be a weapon of war, but because of peaceful time, their magic has dwindled. They also have these bodily characteristics such as red eyes and white hair. Keep note of this if you decide to read it, they are very important. One thing led to another, and due to his own ignorance over his clan's culture and tradition, he leaves his clan to venture into the wider world. But even that won't be easy, because there are just some things that others won't let go. Number 4. Say hello to Isekai Pharmacy or Isekai Yoko Oyoko. Yeah, I think I'll just go with the English version. Our main character is Yaku Tani Kanji, a young pharmacologist and researcher in Japan. Due to overworking himself constantly, he ended up dying in his sleep and entered the body of a noble child named Forma in a medieval European type world. Magic, of course, exists in this world. Only the noble blood has magic. A family he wakes up in just so happens to be a family of a pharmacist with a great noble class that's close to the royalty. Thanks to this, Forma is able to work his way through and create a pharmacy for not just the rich but the average and poor man. Now, I hear you guys. Yes, this doesn't sound anything special. There are manga in which the main character died due to overworking, and it's not like reincarnating in a medieval European world is anything special. However, I'm gonna have to stop you there because there's more to this in this manga. While most Isekai manga use this setting to make the world feel more different or alien, this manga gives us a better understanding of a European lifestyle back then. The line between the noble and working class is made clearer through the main character's interactions and other events that goes on, as well as the physical and mental problems in those days. We also get to understand our main character in his previous life, as well as what really led to his death. You see, he used to have a little sister who ended up having brain tumor and died. As such, he made it his life goal to create medicine that will prevent anyone from feeling the loss he experienced. He became a top-notch pharmacist in Japan and invented cures against illnesses once considered incurable. But this didn't come without sacrifices. He became sleep deprived, and because of this, his body failed him that very night. Now in the body of a child, he has decided to live a better life while improving the lives of others. Along the way, he faces many challenges, both on the medical field and on the religious field. Is there any action? Yes, but don't come into the manga looking for that. It's not the center of the story. Forma may be powerful, but combat isn't his one thing. A greater threat is on the horizon, and if he doesn't do anything about it, millions of lives will be lost. So, again, give this manga a read. There are a lot of talk about medicine and all that, but trust me, the manga really makes it very interesting to read. Number 3. Okay, tell me what's cool in Isekai manga. You could be a mage, a summoner, or a freaking dragon. Take a deep breath and look at this beautiful manga, Evil Dragon Reincarnation. Our main character was just your average salaryman when he was struck down by a distracted couple in a car. He ends up in the body of the so-called evil dragon and lives most of his new life in the forest with a bunch of slimes. But after the Demon Lord's general killed many of them, he avenged them by not only executing those generals, but killing the Demon Lord himself. And so, he decides to become a human again and live his life in the way he wants. Along the way, he encounters both good and bad people, as well as possible war that will eventually get his involvement. I like this manga here due to the main character and the plot. It's one of those manga in which you can feel very comfortable and excited when you're reading this thing. Certain points in the manga are taken care of without feeling rushed, and because the main character is not a high school student, we get to see a new different side of things. There's also a ton of action. and a few good and bad moments that will get you right at the edge of your seat. So yeah, you better read this manga. It's just that good. Number 2. The world of ultimate games is tough for mobs. Yeah, we're back to this type of isekai. Now, some of you might be wondering why this is ranked number 2. After all, the ultimate isekai manga that I've mentioned on this list seem to have at least one thing in common. But trust me, this is entirely different from those other ones. For one, our main character, Leon, is a guy, but not with any connected interest in the game. You see, he was forced by his blackmailing little sister to complete the game for her. As such, he put a lot of his time and money trying to complete the game for her, and as a result, ended up having the knowledge of that game world. The latter is important because when he died as a result of extreme fatigue, he is reincarnated as a son of a low-class noble who had to marry a second time to a noble woman of a higher class to survive. He told her that in this world, it's mostly women that has control. As such, our dear protagonist and his family are looked down on by the wicked noble woman who controls them. What's worse is the fact that she planned to marry him to an obese woman and send him to war where he will likely die in battle, and the compensation money will be sent to her and that woman alone. Fortunately, our protagonist isn't one to back down. Using the wits of the game, he is able to acquire the technology to escape such a fate. Now, he must survive in an economy where men besides the game's captured targets are looked down on and climb its way up to the social ladder. Most of the ultimate isekai that I mentioned on this list, there are actually some good action scenes and other good moments. This manga is gold, so go and give it a read. You will enjoy it. Now, with that all said, here are some honorable mentions. Think of it as reincarnated as a goblin, there are good characters, and a nice pacing. A cute isekai about a grown woman being the body of an overpowered little girl with magic. Good stuff here, main characters decent, and the characters that are with him aren't so bad. This is made by the same artist who drew the isekai manga with the potion girl, but unlike that one, she's able to cross from our world to the fantasy world and vice versa, and use that to her advantage to become rich. Kind of like the other manga, but minus the getting rich part. The main character is oblivious for the most part, but it's fun to read if you're looking for something to pass the time. Honestly, I kind of forgot what this was about, but considering I used to like it, I think you guys deserve to at least check it out. I just disagreed with who became his main love interest, but that's just my opinion. Yours can change. Basically, an old man died and got reincarnated into another world. It would have been on the top 12 if it wasn't for its very slow starting. Still, a good read once you get over that. A pretty funny and unique manga. I recommend reading this if you're into funny situations and just a lot of tomfoolery. This is basically if the ultimate villainess ended up getting her banishment, but with a lot of good story behind that. Number 1. I became the strongest with a failure frame, abnormal state skill as I devastated everything. You probably may not know, but this manga was on my honorable mentions in the part 1. Of course, the same can be said for a few manga that made it on this list, but why I made this the number 1 is because I didn't know much about that manga at the time. Most chapters have come out since that time, so I'm gonna be the first one to talk about it, goddammit. Our main character is Toka Miminwori, a high school student who is summoned with his classmates before the goddess of another world. Just like a few isekai which goes this route, everyone is gifted with special abilities or ranks. He finds out that he's E-ranked, and because of that, the goddess sees him as worthless and wishes to dispose of him. He's a loner, so almost nobody in his class came to his aid. Although his class president stepped in, the goddess was quick to knock her out and blame him for it. Sadly, his classmates fall for this easy manipulation and allow him to be sent into the deepest parts of a dungeon where he should rot and die. This manga is so incredible that it would be a shame not to read it. I'm not exaggerating, you really should give this a good read. Later on in the manga, it's discovered that the goddess has done this to anyone she summoned and deemed disposable. And when they died, their souls aren't even allowed to leave the dungeon. But Toka will not give up. He has made it his goal to make it through the dungeon, get stronger by killing every monster and obstacle in his way, and eventually meet the goddess again, so he can kill her with his own bare hands for everything she has done. And that's where I end today's video. But before I go, let me just say a big thanks for the 50 subs we have. I'm going to do a special video which will be a questions and answers video. So please drop any question you have in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, which if you did, then please like and share these videos. Also check out the other videos that are about to show up on the screen, and please do subscribe so you can be up to date on when the next video comes out. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.